This show contains profanity, advice you should never follow, humor that you might not enjoy. The names have been changed to protect the guilty. Do not try this at home.
Hey, Pox and Puss listeners, welcome to a very special double episode. It's a double episode, but it's actually the normal length, about an hour or so. Our cooking segment was cut short. You'll understand why once you listen to it. It's kind of funny to look back and laugh at it now. But if you stay tuned after our cooking segment, you're going to hear a really cool interview with a Thru-Hiker from this year named Walkure, who was the driving force behind the 2013 pink blazing movement you've probably seen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a few other places. Really, really, really cool lady. So stay tuned after the cooking craziness. As always, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Pox and Puss, on Instagram at Pox and Puss. Have a good time listening to it. Thank you.
Greetings, Yellow Blazers, Blue Blazers, Mario Batolis, Emerald Lagassis, Paladines.
Yeah.
Can't forget, what's his name? The guy that wrote the book?
You obviously did. Anthony Bourdain.
No, the other guy that wrote the AT book. Bill Bryson lovers, Bill Bryson haters.
Carnivores, vegetarians, lacto-ovo-pescatarians.
Ew.
What's that new paleos?
Yeah, those guys.
Carnivore.
Paleontologists.
Caveman dieters.
Welcome to the Pox and Puss Podcast. My name is Pox Holiday, and sitting to my right is
Puss in Boots.
And today we're going to cook some of y'all's food you suggested to us to eat on the trail, and I'm sure we'll talk about some other stuff, right?
It's a given.
It's a given.
It's a given.
We'll be right back. This week, how's your week been?
It's been fantastic.
Mine's been, it's not been bad.
Good.
Just one car accident, not a big deal.
Buried your father. Aside from that.
Car accident, burying a loved one.
Banner week, really.
Banner week. I mean, Jesus. I mean, who wouldn't sign up for that one? You know what was awesome was we were mentioned on the Doug Loves Movies podcast.
That is awesome.
Not by name. Not by name at all. Just by someone saying Appalachian Trail.
The Appalachian Trail podcast.
To be honest, when I attended the Doug Loves Movies podcast and handed him the double extra large shirt that we gave him for the prize bag.
Which was a special order, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I had to make a special trip to Rose's just to find a 2X shirt.
I
Not to say that I'm not happy to make 2X shirts for anybody who wants one. They just might take a little longer.
Right.
They're not in the normal size run.
We got lucky because the woman who won it was pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's convenient.
Yeah, exactly. Who would, she wouldn't ask for 2XL, but she got it.
Good.
But when I met Doug Benson, I wrote down real quickly on a napkin, I wrote down Appalachian Trail Podcast and wrapped it up with the rubber band on the t-shirt. And so sure enough, him being from California, he said Appalachian. But anyway, the main idea is that I'm pretty drunk. And I've been drinking steadily since about 3:30.
9:39.
Currently 9:35. And I think the best thing to do right now would be for us to cook some food.
Obviously,
to put some.
It'll be like my drunk kitchen. It'll be my drunk trail kitchen.
Oh, you're right.
Fantastic. I just got way more excited.
Should we video it? No.
I feel like it's dangerous for us to cook with paper bags on our heads.
I just somehow mouthily sharted all over the microphone. But
oh boy. This is happening.
It's going to be one of those.
We're going to let this happen.
Oh, my God. All right, so before we get going on those, we have a voicemail from our good friend Griever.
The Cap'n Griever.
Oh, Captain Griever.
Pox and Puss from our Snookums and Dumplings. This voicemail thing is wackadoodle. But this is Griever, and I'm currently on my way to my next Connor Rock Trail Crew project in Thunder Ridge, relocation on the Natural Bridge thing. You know, whatever. But I was just calling to tell you both how much I miss you, and I love you, and that I'm currently catching up on like 5 episodes, 4, I don't know numbers, that I've missed. And I'm in a Corolla, kind of like a government vehicle, but not really, because I'm a government operations advisor currently. No, I don't know. I'm doing work on the Appalachian Trail. This is fabulous. You know what? I don't even know where you're at in the show, because I'm not caught up, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I just saw the missed connections, and man, oh man, I gotta tell you a story. We met this girl named Mouse Bear. She had a friend from Germany. I can't remember his name. We met them in the shelter in Irwin, and they needed a ride to town, and we couldn't give them a ride because we have government vehicles. How sad is that? So I'm saying I'm sorry to Mouse Bear and her German friend that I can't recall his name, and that I wish that we could give you a ride in the pouring piss-poor rain as you walk down the highway of Irwin, but I couldn't. Anyway, I miss you both, and I can't wait to hear some more fucking parts. Woo! Screw you! Ah!
So I believe that right before she sent that call out was when we first had our misconnections tweet we sent out a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember for me in Buena Vista, Virginia, which the rest of the world would call Buena Vista.
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista. I met a girl, I can't remember her name at all, but that was like the only misconnection I had on the trail. When we got to Buena Vista, my girlfriend was supposed to meet me there, and just like we got to, it was a Fish Camp Road, yeah. Montebello. Mm-hmm. Montebello. And
home of the Deutsch House.
Well, Montebello is one of those towns that on one side of the sign it says, "Welcome to Montebello." And on the other side of the sign it says, "Welcome to Montebello," because that's how big that fucking town is.
True story.
And so
now there's like a bunch of stuff there. Well, not, I say that relatively. There's a general store
yeah,
that has a trout pond attached to it, and you can pay to rent a fishing pole and catch trout out of the very stocked trout pond, which is only like maybe a quarter of a mile from the lovely folks that run the Dutch House.
Dutch House?
The Deutsch House.
I don't know.
The Dutch House. The Dutch House is a bed and breakfast, but they also have like a bunkie, and if the bed and breakfast rooms aren't occupied, mm-hmm. they'll give you the hiker rate, which I think is like $20 a night to stay in the bed and breakfast, complete with like Dutch House slippers and robes and shit, and it was awesome. We ended up staying like 4 days there.
Oh wow!
But it was really nice.
Well, I got to Montebello, and like the night before Montebello was by far one of my favorite nights. I think we talked about have we talked about that? Better Make It 6.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that?
Yeah.
We might have talked about it. We didn't talk about the specifics. Ago. But so walked down there and got down and found out that my girlfriend had called and was like, "Oh yeah, we're not coming."
Oh.
That was, of course, before the days of cell phones, that kind of thing. So it was like, ugh.
That was pre-fighting in front of Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. And this woman and husband were doing some kind of weird, like, I'm going to hike this part of the trail, you drive this part, I'm going to hike this part, you drive that part kind of thing. And so we convinced him to drive us back into Buena Vista, and met a girl and her dog and tried to get them to stay with us and hang out with us, but she was ready to move out of town. That was the only time where it was like, I feel like I made a connection with the opposite sex on the trail and thought, like, you're going south, I'm going north, no pun intended. And it turns out that it was probably just me. But I think I have talked about the fact that I watched Pimps Up, Hose Down there.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have that going for us.
Next caller.
Next caller.
I have a new favorite as seen on TV. I think it's called The New Wave, and for some reason it's been playing on one of the TVs at the gym I work out at, like 24 hours a day. So New Wave is one of those, like, it's like a cooktop surface that, like, you know, you can touch it, but if you put a pan on it, it boils water instantly kind of things. Like, so they have all these, like, specialty pans that are sawed in half that they'll, like, crack an egg half in the pan, half on the cook stove, like, on the range top.
Right.
To show that, like, it's cool to the touch, but when the pan's on it, it's hot. And so, like, one half the egg is cooking and the other one isn't. But then right next to it is, you know what? The New Wave is like it's like a little convection oven type thing. But my new favorite tagline is for the New Wave, which is, it's touch and go. Because you just turn it on and you leave it, and it's amazing. But I just kept looking up, and it was like, it's touch and go with an exclamation point. I was like, that sounds terrible. Without the audio on, your commercial sounds like things are dying.
Hello, this is Mr. Dallas, calling from the Thru Project, hiking the Appalachian Trail. Right now I'm standing beside Taco Bell. But we don't always have Taco Bells on the trail, so we have to cook for ourselves. How, you say? Well, that's where the magic comes into play. What we do is we get meal packs from Paramount Fit Foods containing olive oil, all kinds of delicious nuts, sun-dried tomatoes, and most importantly, jerky. Jerky of all types, shapes, varieties, and sizes. We have ostrich, gator, venison, beef, and anything else? Yeah, elk. Sometimes, if we're lucky. And what we do is we get a pot, a big pot, because we cook for 4 people, and we fill it full of water. It doesn't have to be treated water. It has to be, just clear, because you don't like to eat dirty water. And we go ahead and throw the jerky in into the pot of water, and we start heating that water up before we cook anything else. Let me go back a little bit and tell you what this recipe is. This recipe is tortellini and jerky featuring cream sauce and special seasonings. So anyways, back to the pot full of water. Add the jerky. The jerky rehydrates after about 10 minutes, which is about as long as it takes to boil water, and add pasta to it. So then we throw our tortellinis in. We prefer Bertolli.
Is that water on the stove, like boiling big time?
Ronzoni makes excellent tortellini. Oh, it's easy to find. So that cooks up, and you have to add a little bit extra water because the jerky is absorbing water the entire time you're cooking. Anyway, the pasta cooks 8, 9, 10 minutes later, and the jerky absorbs all the water, and the jerky becomes almost like real meat again. Delicious. It's tender, it's squishy, it goes in your mouth, and it's easy to chew. All right, so we drain 90% of the water, and we leave a little bit of it in there because that water remaining in the pot will become the sauce, and we want that to stay hot.
God damn it.
And we don't want to drain off all of our nutrients, so we drain off just a little bit of it. And then we add
Hang on.
powdered milk, Parmesan, any other seasonings we can scratch together. That could be bouillon, that could be Mexican seasoning. It could be a special seasoning featured by Paramount Fit Foods called, it's called something Old Virginia. Darren will know what it is. Then we stir it up, and it gets nice. It gets nice and creamy. This is Joel Dallas from the Thru Project. Check us out on the web, thru-at.com. My trail name is Mr. Dallas. Have a great afternoon.
All my fault.
Sure, he's gonna spill your beer again.
No, it was all mine. I just dunk.
I'm an asshole.
It's okay.
All right. So, Mr. Two Ducks, which was also known as...
Old five names.
Yeah, old five names, also known as Mr. Bordeaux.
Or Blimey.
He recommended his favorite meal on the trail is ramen, loaded mashed potatoes, tuna, pepperoni, string cheese, hot sauce, and to top it off, he crumbles Ritz crackers and a little bit of string cheese on top.
It's fucking fancy.
I followed that up with asking him if he just wanted us to eat something nasty. He said no, but he makes it all in one Ziploc bag, which I can understand for cleanup.
That's the important part.
Yeah. And you had another one similarly. Say it for me.
Similarly.
You had another one that sounds close to that.
Mine was pretty easy comparatively. It was just sliced pepperoni and cheesy mashed potato flakes, and you just mix them together, and it's delicious.
What about the Unicoi Zoom?
Unicoi Zooms is totally
Oh,
different.
okay. That's what I was thinking of.
So Unicoi Zoom apparently learned this from some ex-military dudes that she met on trail. The ingredients are ramen, crispy junk food of your choice, protein of your choice, seasoning / dressing of your choice, in a Ziploc freezer bag, add boiling water. And the example that she used was ramen noodles broken up, chili cheese Fritos crushed, sliced Slim Jims, and 5 packets of mayo. Place in a Ziploc, all but the mayo. Pour 1.5 to 2 cups of boiling water in, zip, and cozy it up. Massage the water in, create a mushy brick in a Ziploc, and then add the mayo and eat. She did warn that it was for hikers only, not to be consumed
And
outside.
she called it bricks.
She called it bricks.
Bricks, yeah. And we didn't have Fritos, we have Doritos, correct?
She said crispy junk food of your choice. So Doritos will work.
We have that. Should we go cooking?
Did you know that they made a Doritos Locos Tacos flavored Dorito?
No. Had I known that, I would have bought that tonight before I came over. Holy shit. Is that too many crossovers?
It's like... I
knew they had Doritos tacos.
That's like a what comes first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. It's like, how can you have a Doritos Locos Tacos flavored Dorito?
I remember
Next, there's going to be a Doritos Locos Tacos flavored Dorito Locos Tacos.
I remember as a child going to the World's Fair at, I think it was Knoxville.
Yeah.
And at the World's Fair there, of course, they're showing you like an electric car and all this other stuff. But all I really recall from that was the Frito pie, which was chili. They would just open up a bag of Fritos and pour chili in and cheese and other stuff into a bag of Fritos. And we're like, well, here's the future. That was like 1982.
The time is here.
Yeah, the time is now. It's fucking Fritos. And I've
heard people call those walking tacos.
Well,
when you throw everything in the bag and then you can walk and eat it at the same time, like people on trail. They'll get the like a snack size bag of potato chips or something.
That's what
like
it was, yeah.
You throw all that other shit
Walking
in there.
taco sounds dirty to me. Yeah.
The old walking taco.
The old walking taco. We should eat something before I get much worse off.
You should get some food in you for sure.
We'll be right back.
All right, this is Unicoi Zoom's brick, which is apparently a military delicacy, containing Doritos, ramen, pepperoni, some Taco Bell hot sauce packets. I think that's it.
Alright. Smells good.
Have at it, baby.
I think I got a little bit of everything here.
Don't burn your mouth.
Yeah, I'd eat that.
All right. Pace yourself.
Okay.
Pace yourself. There's lots.
We want to have
more crap to eat.
Do
one more bite just
one
to make
more
sure.
bite just to make sure.
Yeah, I'd call that a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we will. I'm gonna mark this. I'm gonna seal it and mark it.
I can take that to work for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, let's not get carried away. This is our call-in recipe from.
Which one's this?
This is the tortellini and the hunt pack.
Oh yeah. Which hunt pack did you use?
The garlic hunt pack.
Garlic and something apricot or something.
Oh, I'm burning my mouth.
That's good. That's good. That's a good.
Is that a good burning or?
When you burn
Oh,
off
it's
all
a
your
hot
taste
burning.
buds, that will mean that the next one that you try will be better.
Yeah, it's good.
We should probably describe Ben's normal diet.
Ben's a carnivore.
Omnivore.
Mostly carnivore.
Mostly carnivore.
The fact that there's a hunt pack in this makes it worthwhile to
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
I let my meat eat the vegetables. Vegetables is what my food eats.
Ooh.
You know, I've seen you making faces about this one.
There's a lot to get in one spoonful on that one. It might take a couple of spoonfuls.
This is Two Ducks recipe.
This is 2 ducks. A little bit of everything in there. Was there anything
But there
else?
is no duck in this.
No ducks
No.
were harmed in the making of this trail meal. You don't have to like all of them,
Yes.
just so you know. It's pretty much food based on a dare, so
I could eat it.
okay. Good.
How would it rank in the top 3?
Of
With
those 3,
number 3?
the first one I like the best, and the last 2 are close, second and third, I'd say.
Yeah.
This one maybe edging toward third.
Okay. Okay.
That's where I'd lean to. I haven't even had that one yet, but it was just kind of like, all right.
I guess it also depends on what section of the bag you eat from.
That is also
There's a lot of stuff in
that is astute. That is an astute observation, sir.
And this is pepperoni and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Tastes like mashed potatoes and pepperoni. It's exactly what you expect it to taste like.
All right. Wait, there's one more.
Oh, there's one more?
Yeah.
Which one's
It's
this?
almost ready.
Oh, did you... Oh, this is a surprise.
It's a surprise entry.
A late entry.
So is this all stuff people have made and eat? Okay.
Enjoy on a regular basis.
Oh, not necessarily while hiking
no,
or anything?
No, while hiking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do all that.
I had to eat anything while I'm on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
tuna and pepperoni together.
One or the other.
What's this?
eh.
Fourth.
What is it?
I don't know. Peppermint of some sort?
What's that?
I can't really tell.
What's that? I'll try.
I have a lot of other tastes in my mouth right now.
That's what she said.
Like chai and something?
Tea?
Well, I assume that.
Am I just drinking tea?
Well, it's Diva cup tea.
Oh, you know!
I'm done.
Are you shitting me?
For the win!
Are you shitting me?
Kind of shit.
Okay.
I'm taking my cookie and leaving.
I would have vomited directly into
Alright.
this.
You were useless. You said everything was good. Get out.
Was there anything Diva Cup related?
Maybe the tea. Diva cup tea?
Did you boil your Diva Cup?
No.
Okay.
It's just tea.
I would have walked out.
You of all people, I'm leaving.
What? Still? It's the principle of it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the principle of the matter.
You looked me right in the eyes and I drank from it.
Alright, before I have to try. I have to try True Ducks.
Have at it, man.
That's good.
It probably also helped that you were setting me up for it being awful the way your face kept smelling it. And so
Have
it was
you
just like,
smelled it? Smell it.
That smells horrible.
Yeah. Smells like a gym bag. All I know is it's almost 11.
I know.
And you are drunk. And I am not.
You should drink more. Gotta help.
Ain't nobody got time for that. What did we learn this week? We learned that Ninja Ben is not a good judge of food because he grew up in a military family where if it was on your plate, you ate it and you smiled and said it was good. So, congratulations everyone who submitted a recipe. You got Ninja Ben's seal of approval. We learned that
I shouldn't start drinking 6 hours before.
Pox Holiday should not chain drink all day before the show. We learned that tuna and salami pepperoni together.
Dude, that's
You can do an or, but not an and on both of those protein sources. Humongous thanks to the people that called in. Please keep your calls coming, and we promise that we will try to give them a little more attention and respect than we did today.
definitely more respect.
I think Pox is a little respected out for the day.
Yeah.
He has exhausted his respect bone.
It's so hard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To say goodbye
to yesterday.
God, let's just cut it. Let's just say that's it.
Boom.
Okay, you've made it this far. Now, stay tuned for the phone interview with Valkyrie of the Pink Blazing 2013 Thru-Hikers. Remember, consent is sexy. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad we finally had a chance to catch up because we've been following your adventures along on Instagram, I think is where we first quote-unquote met.
Okay.
And where can people find your Instagram pictures? Because they're great. What's your handle?
Thank you. My handle is Cynthia S.B. Stewart on Instagram.
How do you spell that, Stewart?
Stewart.
Well, nice. Yeah. And so I think one of the first things that that caught my attention was when we were at Trail Days. I saw all these people walking around with pieces of pink duct tape on their backs. We were at Mojo's. We were out in front of Mojo's Coffee, and we were set up there and saw all these people with that. And I don't know if people saw us there, but Puss's microphone stand is covered in the exact same pink duct tape. And so I'm like looking around like, where's this? What's going on here? And I just kind of thought, okay, this is just something. I didn't really know what it was. And then somebody mentioned something about pink blazing to us. And I had actually never heard that term before. I don't know if it was really used in '98.
Okay.
And so when I mentioned it to Puss, I said, yo, I said there. And then I looked up. Then I think I found your Instagram account and was like, oh, these people were doing this thing called pink blazing. And she kind of turned her nose up and I was like, what? And she's like, that's not really a good term. And I was like, really? It's not? And I said, well, it just, like, from what I understand, it means like hiking for love or hiking for other people. And she told me that the old school term was just mainly kind of a derogatory towards guys who would slow up to be around women. But it seems like you're trying to change that. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So what does pink blazing mean to you?
Well, like you're saying, the old meaning was like hiking at a different pace so you could summit mountains and camp with sexy hikers.
Right.
But I don't think that has to be a negative thing. Pink blazing is supposed to be sex positive, but it doesn't have to be sexual. I just interpret it as hiking for love. And, there's a lot of different slang terms like yellow blazing.
Right.
Is hitchhiking, you're following the yellow road. And pink blazing just kind of like emphasizes the relationships on the trail. I think a lot of people underestimate how social the Appalachian Trail is.
Right.
You choose it to be. So, I don't know. I had the pink duct tape, and I was just thinking, like, well, I can make like a literal pink blaze. And I told my friends the idea, and they're like, that's stupid. We're hanging out at Mojo's Coffee. And then I'm like, oh. And then I just, like, went up to one random stranger from the Appalachian Trail, some hiker trash. And I was like, do you guys want to, like, wear pink blazes on your back? And they're like, cool. And so we just had a little photo shoot. And then my friends started doing it, and then I would go up to different people, and they think it was funny. They'd wear it.
Oh, yeah. I know you haven't had a chance. You've been on the trail and haven't had a chance to listen to the show, and I'm sure that's the only reason you haven't had a chance. But a couple of times, like with the way we open our show, I always open it with I was definitely more on the hiker trash side of things. I never did Yellow Blaze, but I always start our show off with greetings, Yellow Blazers, Blue Blazers, and then we add some other stuff in there. But recently, like the last couple of times, not every time, I've thrown in greetings, Yellow Blazers, Blue Blazers, Pink Blazers, and blah, 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 Bill Bryson lovers, Bill Bryson haters, and that kind of thing. and then usually Puss adds something in there. But yeah, so yeah, no, we like the idea. And Puss wanted me to pass along that she was very thankful that you were on the, that, how did she put it? That you were endorsing the consent train, as she puts it.
Right.
And one thing I saw on your page was that did you perform a marriage ceremony?
I did.
Oh, okay. Was it legit or?
It wasn't necessarily legal, but it was a ceremony.
Oh, okay. Did those two people meet on the trail? I'm sorry. Did those two people meet on them? They did. Okay.
They did, and I don't know. I thought they were really cute. Like they just like they fell in love on the trail.
Oh.
I'd say, and they wanted to have a ceremony, and they asked me to perform it. And so we had a little pink blaze wedding, and the rings were ring pops.
Another picture that I like, and Puss and I saw it. I was like, check this one out. We're like sitting in her house and like looking at different pictures, and I was like, oh. And one of my other favorite ones was, I guess that was you in the middle of a river with like a wacky noodle or something like that. And
I played as a didgeridoo.
As a didgeridoo, okay. And it said, what is the quote underneath it?
I said, I'll never forget I'm a goddess again.
Yeah, we love that one. We thought that was great. It was a tough one to describe on, like, I was like, I like this one. Like, let's talk about it. And it was kind of like, well, it's kind of tough to describe, like we'll just let her explain it. And where was that?
I guess it's about confidence. Like, on the trail, it just shows you a lot, like, when you haven't showered and you smell like pee and, like, people just, like, are still into you. And I think that, I don't know, like, in high school, I felt like I was weird and I felt like a werewolf girl, and I never really thought I was that attractive. And then, I don't know, I went abroad in New Zealand and people were like, you're hot as. I'm like, you're right, I am hot as. And, like, that's not the point. I think that people should just feel good about themselves, and especially nerds and weird people. I think that I would like to see if, like, nerds and weirdos could be empowered so that people who don't necessarily find love because they think they're weird, like, I feel like if they were more open about who they are, they could find a better match.
Right.
And on the trail, I think that people, like, removed from the whole, like, women's magazines and, like, what do men actually want, what do women actually want. I would describe that as creating like a generation of, like, blue balls of despair. And on the trail, when people were kind of, like, removed from that, like, people were still finding each other and having relationships despite smelling like pee and not showering.
Yeah.
Being hiker trash.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I hiked, I turned 22 while I was on the trail, and that was 15 years ago, so do the math. And I hiked with a really good friend of mine from high school, and we met this one guy, and he was really cool. He was probably about 30 or so. Of course, when you're 21 or 22, 30 seems like, 100 years away. And he was talking about his wife, and he said,
you know, I knew I was supposed to marry her whenever, you know, I found out that she was a backpacker. Oh, he said something about like her backpacking and hiking and really being outdoorsy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, I really hope that my wife likes to backpack and go hiking. And he just looked at me and he said, why would you marry someone who didn't? And it was kind of like you said, the opening up and being your true nerd self.
Talking, like nerds who peacock.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah. And it was just kind of like the light switch flipped. And I was like, you're right. Why wouldn't I? And my wife and I, when we did get married, we hiked the first 200 miles of the PCT. So, you know, so yeah. And we actually met at, well, anyway. So it was, I completely agree. And our comment, even long before this kind of nerd revolution has come about, which seems like it is, we were always like, everyone is a geek about something. You know, everyone's a geek about something, and just own up to it. You know, I'm aside from hiking and stuff like that, I admit it, I'm a 37-year-old cartoon addict.
Right.
You know, so I'm a nerd. That's my nerd thing. And slowly podcasting is becoming my nerd thing. So,
cool. Oh, and I wanted to mention like the rule of pink blazing.
Oh yeah.
The rule, which you touched upon, is like consent is sexy, and the idea behind that, and that's already a social movement.
Right.
And my interpretation of that is that, you know, in this day and age and in all time, like, people are into really weird stuff. And, you know, maybe, like, you don't want to know about it, it's not your thing, but I think a way to judge, like, if something's okay or not is that, you know, if everyone's okay with what they're doing and they're not harming anyone, then that's fine by me. And, like, you know, in society, who can give consent? Like, someone who's underage can't give consent, or someone who's intoxicated can't give consent.
Right.
A sheep can't give consent. A dolphin, maybe. But
they do shake their heads up and down a lot.
Yeah.
When did you first come about the idea? Like, when did this idea on the trail? Like, when did you find a like-minded group with this? Like, how far in were you?
Find a group with pink blazing?
Yeah, like a like-minded kind of crew. Because and this is coming from an outsider position where like all I've seen is Instagram and that kind of thing. So, I mean, It seems like you have a little bit of a crew that kind of all rolls around, and that's a bad way to put it, but you know what I mean? They all roll together. And so, like, when was the first time you mentioned the idea of pink blazing? Was it at Trail Days or prior to it?
It was at Trail Days at Mojo's Coffee, because we went to Trail Days like a week early, and we were just camping on a road, kind of Mojo's, so we would hang out there for like 3 hours so we could use the bathroom and get coffee and stuff.
Okay. One of the pictures of you on Instagram is standing outside of a business where you actually placed a pink blaze. Could you tell us where that was and the story behind it?
Sure. I was Herb House Trading Company in Marion, Virginia, and my friends was telling me about it, like, oh, you got to go to this place. It's like they have art and this and that. I'm like, wait, what is it? And I was kind of confused, but I went there, and it was just this really cool business that just opened up where they had a lot of knickknacks and stuff for sale, and they had ice cream and coffee, but they also had like a large supply of art tools, so you could go there and hang out and draw and just be creative. So I thought that was really cool. I hung out there, and I told the lady about at first I wanted to kind of just like put up a little piece of pink duct tape on my own and like not really ask anyone. My friends were saying like, no, don't do that, and I'm like, I think they'll be cool with it. But I'm glad I asked the owner if I could, and I told her about pink blazing, and I also connected it with the hobo code. So like in the 1930s, like some original hobos in America would have codes that they would put up on different houses, like different symbols to help other hobos out. Like a drawing of a cat would mean that a nice lady lived somewhere, so like you could go and beg and maybe like some cat lady would give you some food, or like a picture of a fish meant that this place had like nice garbage, like the rich people's thing. So then the pink blaze worked like a hobo code to just show other hikers that it was hiker approved, and the owner was really excited about it because she wanted to open up her store to other hikers. And I know that Marianne in general is becoming like a hiker town.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I just was like, what's the story behind this? Whenever I started to find that stuff out.
The whole process of doing the whole pink blazing thing and how it spreads. Like, the word for it is a meme, which is used a lot on the internet for, like, pictures that spread. And a meme is just how, like, cultural information spreads. Like, before the internet, stuff still went viral. Like, you know, like the picture of the sailor and the nurse kissing after World War I. And then the thing about the word meme is that actually, I think Richard Dawkins coined it, and he writes a lot about genetics. And meme was used to describe how, like, cultural information spreads similarly to genetic information. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, like, with the whole pink blazing thing, I was behind the message, but I was also saying, like, how can I create something and have it spread just through, like, through people?
Right.
And the internet.
And have you seen, like, you know, I mean, have you, like, been clicking on the hashtag to see, like, what other things are popping up?
I've seen some stuff. I haven't done much, like, self-stalking yet. It'd be cool if it spread. I know I put some pink duct tape along the actual trail.
Right.
Like, on a spot where, yeah, with the picture with the noodle was, I was on the Virginia Creeper Trail, where we had, like, a pink blaze pool party.
Yeah.
And I put the spot there, and then other people, I put a piece of pink duct tape, like, right on the nice swim spot. And then later people were like, oh, we saw the pink blaze, and we thought that was, like, a good spot to have sex or something. And I'm like, yeah, it could be that, but it was really a pool party. So,
so have you found love on the Appalachian Trail?
I say I never felt so much love in my life as being on the Appalachian Trail. I caught the neurovirus, but I did not catch monogamy yet. I just having fun.
Nice. Yeah, Noro seemed like the year I hiked was known as El Nino, because that was the first time anyone pretty much ever heard the term El Nino, and it was true. I used to hold our year used to hold the record for the most rain in 2003, and now you guys have the record. But yeah, so it that Noro seemed to probably put a little bit of a dent in the pink blazing efforts. I'd imagine everybody's walking around in hazmat suits like they're coming to get ET. But yeah, it seemed like it got everybody. Where did you get it?
I got it right after Hot Springs.
Seems to be a popular location. Nice.
Oh, when you're asking more about pink blazing, we had a couple of slogans. I had, like, a marketing meeting when I was first coming out with it. My friends, we were just like chilling in Damascus. I'm like, what should the slogan be? And so we came up with a couple ones, and it was like pink blazing, the other Mile High Club, pink blazing, my hammock or yours, and pink blazing, I showered 3 days ago.
You should, when you get back on trail with your friends, you guys should do, like, a press conference.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. You know, do a press conference and, like, put it up on YouTube or something like that to announce the pink blazing, you know, release party or whatever. I think that'd be great. Like, any questions? Yes.
I'd like hang out with people who have GoPro cameras.
Yes. Seems like everybody has a GoPro camera these days.
Yeah. When I started the trail, I had a golden replica of the One Ring of Power from Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And on the trail, I was also searching for, like, a vision quest. That was one of my goals on going to the Appalachian Trail, was to find myself. So, like, at a time when I was experimenting with altered states, like, via meditation, I felt that it was, like, I just felt super in tune with nature, and I felt like it was the moment to give up the One Ring, even though it wasn't at Katahdin, because I was thinking, like, maybe I could catch for gold the One Ring of Power when I get to Maine. But it was, like, dramatic. I just, like, ripped the chain off my neck, and I put it on the ground, and I put a piece of pink duct tape over it. And I did that in Parisburg, like, by the crossroads, by the Parisburg Cemetery. So I don't know if anyone found it.
Okay.
But if anyone finds a One Ring of Power, I hope they have a lovely quest.
That's awesome. Have you had any other have you met any other nerdy nerds out there?
Yeah, I mean, most people on the trail, I think, can be described as, like, socially awkward, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And it seems like a lot of people have that,
like, hey, I just got laid off, or I just got divorced, or I just had a family member pass away. And it seems like a lot of those people they do well, and they, just kind of are searching. And it sounds like maybe you had a little bit of that searching thing in there as well. Am I right or wrong?
Definitely. And I mean, I saw the Appalachian Trail, or I still see it as a career move. I know I'm not making any money from it. I'm losing a lot of money, but
Yeah.
I graduated college in 2012, and then I was just saving up for the Appalachian Trail, and I wanted to do it, or something like the Appalachian Trail, my whole life. And it's really helping me figure out what I want to do. I've always wanted to be a writer, and I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from the trail. And I journal on the trail, and I'm working on a book. And it's just for me, but I would like to publish it one day.
It's interesting how many people find that inspiration out there and enjoy, just like you said, the camaraderie. I think it is very underestimated. And from what I understand, it's very unique to the Appalachian Trail because of the trail towns, the distance between the towns, and also just the popularity of the trail. The Hawkeye, he was telling us about how it just doesn't have that same feel on the PCT. You still run into people and you still see people, but there's just something different about it. It's not as social of a trail. And we asked him if he could do any of the three again. He said the AT would be the one, just for that reason. And we had some friends who hiked the AT in 98 and then 99. They were like, hey, let's go do the Colorado Trail. Not as long, just going to take up, a couple of months as opposed to the full-on, 6-month adventure. They didn't have as good a time because there's really very little social interaction. There aren't as many opportunities for people to do that. So I loved it. That's the one thing that everybody always asked, what do you miss about the trail? And it was like, I just miss the people. And also I said on average, every other day I'd meet a crazy person.
Yeah.
And, but I was very rarely
crazier than you.
Yeah, exactly. Very rarely was I scared. I did stay one night with somebody who they thought was Eric Rudolph, the bomber from the 96 Olympics. Yeah, he was picked up the day after we left. But it just turned out he just was crazy. Do you mind holding on 1 second while I grab some water?
You go to the bathroom, so am I.
Hello, I am back. And you cursed me because I didn't have to pee until you said it.
Oh.
But yeah, you were about to say some more stuff.
Sure. So one of the things, I identify as hiker trash, and I love that phrase. And I feel like it's a really endearing name for just the people who do the different blazes, like yellow blazing, just regular hiking, hitchhiking. Even I met some people on the trail who hop freights around America. I thought that was badass.
Yeah.
But I know that there is a purist mentality about the trail, and I think people who want to do every single mile, I think that's awesome. But one thing I don't like in the hiker community, sometimes there's an elitist mentality where you have to spend all this money and you have to do this and that to be in the woods, when I feel like everyone should be allowed to be in nature and have an experience in nature. And you don't have to do this you don't have to do something extreme to prove yourself and to prove how hardcore you are. I think that a lot of people would benefit from spending time in nature by themselves or with other people. I call it sustainable fun because in the woods, you can bring some beer and just hang out with your friends and have a campfire, and you don't have to spend $100 going out and finding entertainment. I really like that part. And then my interpretation of the trail was that it was a quest, and we talked a little about Lord of the Rings, and I had the One Ring. I was also getting into Norse mythology because I know that Lord of the Rings is based a lot on the Norse mythology, and my trail name is Walkure. And the girl I was dating before I started hiking, her name's Hannah, and she has this band, Roses and Kings, and she named me in a song that she wrote.
Mm-hmm.
The song was actually written about her friend who passed away, and he died hiking. He died helping hikers in the Adirondacks who were in trouble, and so she wrote a beautiful song about him. And there's a character in the song that says "Oh, night rider, oh Valkyrie, in your golden armor, take me home."
And she said that the Valkyrie was based on me. So I guess it's like a nerdy way of saying baby. But I thought that was really cool. And so that was my name on the trail. And I was explaining it to my friends, like, oh, Valkyries, they escort heroes to Valhalla, and they serve mead and party and stuff. And they're like, so you're like an escort. Like, you're missing the point. But, like, my motto for the Appalachian Trail, and it's what my book is based on, is, are we still talking about mountains? And that is supposed to mean that, like, when you solve problems in the woods, it can be applied for other life situations. Like, if you're on a mountaintop and a storm rolls in, like, do you run for your life, or do you set up shelter and wait it out, or do you just chill and wait 20 minutes? And, like, a lot of times when we're talking about the trail, like, oh, the path today is going to be long and windy, but, like, it's going to be worth it in the end. And it just sounds like you're talking about life a lot of cliches. But I think that, you know, problem solving in the woods and just having experiences in nature can help you a lot see, like, the bigger picture in your own life. And so, like, to really nerd out, like, chaos theory is the math behind a lot of nature. It's just, like, equations behind that can make stuff like ferns and seashells and mountains, weather. And, you know, you don't have to understand everything about chaos theory, but one of the patterns in it is that it's data that's not chaotic. It's just stuff that repeats. And we think it's chaotic, and we call it chaos theory, but it's really replicating patterns. Like, if you looked at a fern, if you just have that image in your head, like, the whole fern looks like one piece of the fern, and then, like, a smaller piece is also the shape of the whole fern. And that's how a lot of stuff in nature works. And sometimes, and you can apply that to your own life by saying, like, oh, like, I'm in this chaos, but not really, like, I just have this bad habit, or I have an addiction. And if you see outside the patterns and you can see the bigger picture, you can break free from it, make a positive change. And I think that nature can be a huge help for that. And, like, nature is part of my spirituality. I'm a nature worshiper, and it just means that I think that nature is a higher power, and I like being close to it.
I agree. Same way. What do you hope at the end of your through hike? What do you hope to have accomplished?
Definitely peace, like, with myself. I love the inspiration and the drive I get from the trail, but I think that being humble about it is a great part. I know I get really annoyed when people are like, oh, I did this, and, like, I hiked every single mile, and they kind of rub it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think, I want to hear about other people's accomplishments, but I don't like it when people make it seem like nature is this, like, elitist thing when it's free and it's for everyone.
Yeah.
So I hope to inspire other people without always being like, one time on the Appalachian Trail, like, when I was doing this, and, like, you know, like, I don't want to be, like, a show-off to my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I want to inspire them, but not, like, inspire them to, like, have their own kind of quest. Like, if they're not into hiking, like, maybe they can have courage to do this, or, like, try something new. And I know that a lot of people on the Appalachian Trail, whether they're, like, just starting their career or they're at a break, I know it's a big choice to, like, take time out for yourself and not make money and just kind of focus on yourself. And I feel like that's a really important thing, in that our society is not really set up to give people that break. I'm super excited for the northern section because I grew up in New York and hiking in the Adirondacks, and I know that's not part of the trail, but I feel like it's a similar mountain thing, and it's, like, totally foreign. I mean, it's also foreign in that I haven't done, like, that much hiking in Maine and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But I like the atmosphere and, like, the birch trees, the pine. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
I love that area. I mean, the north. Honestly, for me, people ask, like, what my favorite section was and what I would go back and do. I would actually go back and do quite a bit of New York. I loved it. Unfortunately, I got there when it was there were like 3 days when I was in New York where it set the record as far as heat goes. It was like 104 one day on a day where the high had been 98. You know, I think everybody just thinks of New York City when they think of New York, and so I had no clue what to expect. But I was also around a really good group of friends.
at the time, but even when I wasn't, I was blown away by New York. I just liked it. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Virginia as far as like being on those like up on vistas where you just see like fields, and like that's just something I just think a lot of people don't think about with New York is like fields and farms, and I just kind of like jumping back and forth between New York and New Jersey, New York and New Jersey. Well, cool. Well, I'm so thankful we talked to each other, and I really wish that Puss was able to interact, because she just has such great questions, and I'm really happy we had a good conversation.
Me too.
Yeah,
My slogan for nerds is like turn mutants into cutants. I think that if you're really weird but people think you're cute, they're more likely to accept you, and that's my method, I guess.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good rest of the day. Fun getting back to the trail.
You too.
All
Bye.
right, bye. Hey, thanks for hanging in this episode. Might have been a rough one, but it was actually kind of fun. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
It had so much promise in the beginning.
Sometimes life gets in the way.